here and hit go live. And we're going to go live. And we are live. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, from the wastelands of the internet, I have come and I have returned once again. Only this time, I have captured a wild Jensen out in the wilderness and brought him in, kicking and screaming. Good morning to you all, and say good morning to the folks, Jensen.
Save me! Save me! Help! Hey, dude.
How you been doing?
I'm actually doing quite fine, to be completely honest, mate. I'm currently working on 2 hours sleep, and for some reason my body doesn't want me to sleep. I'm wide awake.
Congratulations.
God, am I going to crash later? Yeah.
When utter exhaustion sets in. So,
Oh, yeah.
I have been I've been wrestling with an issue with my left shoulder, right? And I was talking to my brother, and he said that he had something similar happen, and he said you got to stretch it, even though it's painful, you got to stretch it, and so forth. Um, he actually went to a doctor for his shoulder. There's no way I'm going to a doctor for this. And he's right. Right. As I stretch it more, I'm getting more mobility to it. But my gosh, it hurts.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But it's getting better. And good morning to TM. Good morning, Chris. There's a reason I am doing this early today. Um, One is to just see what happens, but the main reason is because I will be leaving this weekend off to uh, Oklahoma, all right, for a business trip. So I need to get some of these things done and out of the way early, right? It's also an attempt to see whether or not the issue that I had last week, because last week was cut short due to the fact that the internet service basically started throttling me, and the
Yeah,
read
you're... Oh, hello. You were lighting up but not speaking there, sir.
I was lighting up but not speaking.
Yes.
What do you mean I was lighting up? You mean on Discord I was lighting up and not speaking?
Yes.
No,
Yes,
I've
you
been
was lighting
speaking the whole time. I mean, it's showing
Oh, trust me, you weren't. Okay.
it.
It's really funny. And the trouble I've had was... So your timing on that was absolutely amazingly perfect at saying that, by the way.
So apparently, if I'm not shouting, the Discord can't hear me. Is that the issue?
It looks like... Oh, God. No. Good
morning, Jacob.
At least wait until Batman gets here for that one. Hey, Jacob.
So, but we have news. But as I was continuing, what I was saying is my shoulder had been hurting, and my brother had told me I got to stretch it even past the point of pain, and I've got a lot more mobility back. Just so you know, but it's a long haul, right, to do this. But and anyway, the like I was saying, the reason I was doing this is several reasons. One of which is one to because I've got to go on that trip I mentioned. Two,
Yep.
I am curious to see how well the response is. All right, but three is I think that they were throttling me, and the reason I think they were throttling me though is not for nefarious reasons per se. Okay, the problem that's happening at the time frame that I had chosen is that it's at the very beginning of when many of the college games begin. And so people are streaming a lot of these college games. So in order to do that, they basically pick and choose who they're going to throttle. And I think I was on the list.
I assume by college games you mean hand egg and things like that.
It's football. It's not hand egg. And it's not soccer.
Does the foot... Okay, no. We're going to go back to this one. The ball is not spherical. It's not a ball. It's egg-shaped. It's an egg. Does the foot get involved overtly?
It's not
really. The hand
eggs don't have points, and yes, the foot does get involved. There are times when the ball is kicked all over the field.
Precisely. There are times.
All right.
Not It's not exactly a common
If you
thing,
if you
okay?
didn't want it to be called soccer, you shouldn't have named it soccer.
I don't mind you ruining the name of things, but at least admit it's not football.
It's football.
Okay.
If you want to call it American football, fine. American football. It's football.
It's hand egg. Okay.
You feel lonely without Batman being around. Is that the issue?
No. For what I thought I'd get these comments in now before he starts and the shouting begins.
Let's get started in the thing. Right. UN chief visits Rafah. Excuse me, Rafah crossing as aid convoy awaits to enter Gaza. The UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres on Friday visited the Egyptian side of the Rafah border crossing with Gaza ahead of anticipated opening of the crossing to bring in aid into the besieged Palestinian enclave. At the Rafah crossing, the only crossing point between Egypt and the Gaza Strip, Gutierrez said that the large convoy loaded with food and medicine was the difference between life and death for the Palestinian people. We absolutely need to have these trucks moving as quickly as possible and as many as necessary. Okay, I see no reason to support a bunch of freaking terrorists. We shouldn't be given
Yeah,
any aid. This is one of the reasons why we should never be in the UN anymore. Because they are giving aid to a bunch of butchering terrorists. Okay?
yes,
I want people to understand this. Don't give me this one. Hey, no, man, they're just a bunch of innocent. They're not innocent. Okay? They're not.
no,
They might be unwilling human shields at best, but even then, not really. Does that sound harsh? Too bad, because that's what they are. Okay? The
yep,
vast majority of those people support Hamas fully going in and doing what they've done, which is target women and children on the other side.
agreed.
And there's too many
Chris made
people.
an interesting comment, by the way.
Gutierrez will probably use.
Gutierrez will probably use.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go on.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Gutierrez will probably use it as an opportunity to give a speech about global warming. Well,
Oh
didn't you
God.
know that the reason all of this is happening is because of global warming? In fact, you know what I've heard, and this
Oh,
may only be a rumor, but I hear that global warming is the cause of global warming. Have you heard about that?
global warming.
The only thing they haven't claimed yet.
All right. I wasn't going to talk about this stuff, but I'm going to talk about it now.
Mm,
Okay. I found when I'm at work, there are times when I have a lot of downtime. Okay. It just
mhm,
kind of comes and goes, right? So to keep myself
yeah.
occupied, I decided to go on this website and take a survey. Right. And this
Yeah.
website lets you do surveys and things like that. So it was kind of cool, right? You get surveys from all over about various different things, right? Um, but I began to notice a theme in these surveys, and it doesn't matter whether or not it's you're talking about groceries, automobiles,
Mhm.
politics, right? Aunt May's financials, right? Every time it gets to a point where they start talking about global warming bullshit. This company, this airline company, how well does it do for sustainability? How green is it? It's an airline.
Yeah.
What do you mean? How green is it? Okay, I am sorry, but over the quarter of the questions are about this global warming, climate change, bullshit, nonsense, and their full acceptance of it, and to whether or not we really care about it. Okay,
Yeah.
the fact that you care and you're trying to push this agenda is obvious because you've written a damn survey where you ask a, more questions about global warming than you do about the fucking airline company that you're trying to supposedly survey.
Agree?
This kind of shit is nonsensical. And I'm not when it comes to quote unquote global warming skepticism. My skepticism isn't skepticism. My skepticism is show me the real proof. That's all I've been asking for. Show me how much the world is doing this. But I am sick and tired of all these little panty waste coming out there and idiots like Piers Morgan and everything that give these idiots interviews, right? And don't ask them the very simple question: what are you willing to give up? Are you willing to give up your life? Are you willing to risk your life for this cause? And as soon as these dumbasses say yes, because they all will,
Yeah.
okay, then you say, how come you're not putting together a mercenary brigade to go after the real polluters in China and India? Aren't you
Yeah.
committed to the cause? I thought you said you were committed to the cause. Okay, because these are the biggest polluters, biggest bang for the buck. Why aren't you doing this over there?
Yeah.
You're nothing but
But
clowns. You're nothing but self-seeking, looking for your 10, 15 minutes of fame clowns. You're not
yeah.
trying to actually accomplish anything because you're not really committed to the cause. Let's be honest. If they were as committed as they claim they are, right? Then they would be forming freaking military style brigades and going over and trying to take the fight to the real polluters on the planet.
Yeah. I completely agree with you. So they reckon that England needs to cut its global output of pollution. We're at 1%.
Yeah,
Literally,
these same people
we
hop on private jets to fly to Davos for conferences. It's just an excuse for free meals and free drinks and fancy planes. the,
horrific, isn't
I'm,
it?
I'm not even going to go into it because my commentary is a lot cruder, to be honest. Let's go to the other story that everyone talked about this week.
Okay.
AP
Well,
visual analysis: rocket from Gaza appeared to go astray, likely caused the deadly hospital explosion. Volleys of rockets have lit up the darkened skies over Gaza. Video analysis analyzed, by the Associated Press show one veering off course, breaking up in the air before crashing to the ground. Seconds later, the video shows a large explosion in the same area, the site of the Gaza Ali Arab Hospital. Who is to blame for the fire explosion has set off intense debate, and finger pointing between the Israeli government and Palestinian militants, right, further escalating tensions in their 2 week long. How is this going to further escalate tensions? What are the Palestinians going to just jump over the border and start killing women and children? Right.
probably. Have you actually seen the videos about the explosions of what
Yeah, yeah.
the
I've
areas
seen,
that
I've
were?
seen, I've seen a lot of them, and I'm going to say something that's
Okay.
going to be very controversial.
Oh, awesome! This is gonna be fun.
Okay, and I truly mean this. It wouldn't surprise me
Hmm.
in the slightest, okay, if Hamas aimed that rocket at their own hospital and fired it,
And still managed to miss. Just note that part.
right, and hit the parking lot. Okay,
Yeah.
I have every expectation that at some point someone's going to point this out. And the reason
Yeah.
I say that is
And
because of the immediate coordinated language coming from all of their outlets,
oh yeah.
right, including the outlets like the New York Times, right, which has just, of course, rehired Hitler is good guy, all right, Soliman Hiji, so he can cover the Hamas terrorists. New York
Mhm.
Times reporter who came under fire last year for praising Adolf Hitler in multiple resurfaced Facebook posts was rehired by the Grey Lady to cover the Israel-Palestinian war. Palestinian filmmaker Soliman Hiji hailed the Nazi leader as recently as 2018 in a Facebook post when he shared a photo of himself captioned that he was in a state of harmony as Hitler was during the Holocaust.
Okay, I'm going to make a comment, and it's probably going to get me in trouble. But as you know, I don't care. I'm wondering, see, okay, if the McDonald's was in Lebanon, does that mean they don't actually provide hamburgers? I'm actually being some. No, you look, okay.
You,
The most
you're
basic
forcing me to go
food you.
back to the thing. I was closing. I didn't realize you were going there.
Oh, good God! Of course I am. No, I'm actually being very serious here, okay? The most basic food you can get in McDonald's is a hamburger and a cheeseburger. Do you agree or disagree?
uh,
Am I wrong at any point?
I agree. I'm trying to get this back now because it was
Okay, well,
because it was a thing. I gotta wait for this dumb shit to play.
okay. How can it be hamburger given that there's that whole little issue with pork over there?
Well,
Just, just,
first of all, it's not ham as
I
in
know the
pork.
beef. I know.
It's
I
in
know.
as it's in hammered, right? Or in this case, it's actually
Yes.
ground, right?
Yes.
But you hammer it into a patty. In fact, we had
Yes.
initially in America, in order to make a patty like that, we had little presses that we created, right? Well, hamburger patty
Oh,
presses,
oh,
right? They,
all
but people
right.
were like, I can do this by hand, and you can, but to be honest, when they're pressed, they actually taste just a bit
Yeah.
different. They truly do.
Fair.
It's kind
Yeah,
of odd,
fair.
right? And I don't care
You
about
see my point, though, don't
that.
you?
I
Okay, they've
do.
got this whole issue with the meat of the pig,
Hmm.
and yet it's called hamburger. I mean, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm taking it a little bit too literally, and I accept this may be the case.
Mm-hmm.
But that seems really freaking
You
dodgy.
was literally. Didn't we just have this discussion about quote unquote football? Do you,
I have no idea what you're talking about, Hand Egg.
do you remember this?
Mhm.
Smash
I
Burgers
know
over
it's from Hamburg, TM. I know, but nonetheless, ham. You
there.
know, it
We-
just seems a little bit dodgy with the racial issues with that meat stuff. That's all. Okay.
yeah. Anyway,
Anyway, yeah,
on to the next story.
yes.
Because this is over in jolly old England, right? Revealed a terror attack has already been carried out in the UK because of Gaza. Asylum seeker, right, in custody over alleged crime, told police they wanted to avenge deaths of Palestinians. An asylum seeker who said he wanted to avenge the deaths in Gaza has carried out a suspected terror attack in Britain. It was claimed last night. The man who came to the UK in 2020 told you hadn't gotten rid of him yet. Should have realized that. Told police that he had done it for Palestine, according to the Telegraph. Details of the terror attack in question can't be reported for legal reasons because the case is active. All right, but the suspect, who is currently in custody, is said to have told authorities that after his arrest, he had committed the offense because Israel had killed children in Gaza. Senior politicians have questioned why information of the attackers' motivations was not made public amid warnings of pro-Palestinian protests this weekend. All right, could have encouraged so-called lone wolf attacks. Well,
Mago?
yeah.
One, I've heard absolutely nothing about this. This is all news to me, so that's kind of funny. And two, your little comment about, oh, it's your fault for not getting rid of them. I don't know if you know about this. You probably don't. I'll be completely honest. But apparently, one of our MPs up north in the Houses of Parliament actually brought a case together that we should get rid of all of the illegal immigrants. They're just trouble. Let's just deport all of them. You should have heard the uproar that went off from that. And poor old Rishi Sunak, our so called Prime Minister, the poor boy did his level best to prevaricate and not give any specific agreement or details in anything he did. It was hilarious watching him going, I can't discuss this It's an open case. There's nothing I can do. Apparently, at the surgeries that they hold to discuss all this sort of thing, the immigrants are actually turning up and threatening their staff and demanding visas, which, well, the councillors, etc., can't actually hand out visas. Only the Home Office can do that over here. I don't know how it is with you guys. So if you turned up at your senator's house, could he write out a visa to allow someone to stay in your country?
No,
That's what I thought.
no. There's okay. The legislature has
Mhm.
no executive power.
That's what I thought.
Okay, and that's intentional. Here's the climate goblin,
Yeah. Ugh.
and
Yeah.
people are upset because he posted this, right? Because of a freaking octopus plushie.
Yeah. Yeah.
My problem is the placard she's carrying.
Yeah.
Right? It has nothing to do with this. These people would all be murdered by these assholes if they went over there. They would be
You might
murdered
want to put
by
in.
them. They would be freaking taken out and butchered by them. And yet these
You might want to put
dumbass
in the
little
words
freaking things.
eventually. Okay, eventually murdered. You know they'd be used in other horrific ways as well.
I'm not going to go comment because you're setting up a
Yeah.
T-ball for me.
Okay. You'll know I'm not wrong though, right?
Let's just leave it there. We already got a story along those lines later, so I'm not going to worry about it. However, it would
With
reduce the
me here,
carbon
did you
footprint.
really think you was gonna have a normal stream? Honestly, did you?
I has nothing to do
When
with
have
that.
you ever had a normal stream with me?
I've never had a normal stream ever. If you really
That's
want
a
to
fair
think about
point, actually.
it.
Yeah. No, I'll accept that statement.
Meanwhile, from the AP, why Egypt and other Arab countries are unwilling to take in Palestinian refugees from Gaza. Let's read,
That.
shall we? As the desperate Palestinians in sealed off Gaza try to find refuge under Israel's relentless bombardment. Have they brought in B 52s and started carpet bombing
No,
the area yet? Then how is this
no.
relentless? Not how is this called relentless bombardment? Just
I know it's
just pointing
depressing.
out. I'm just pointing out that words matter. In retaliation for Hamas's brutal October 7th attack, some ask why neighboring Egypt and Jordan don't take them in. The two countries, which flank Israel on opposite sides and share borders with Gaza and the occupied West Bank, respectively, have replied with staunch refusal. Jordan already has a large Palestinian population. Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, all right, made his toughest remarks yet on Wednesday, saying that the current war was not just aimed at fighting Hamas, which rules Gaza Strip, but also an attempt to push the civilian inhabitants to migrate to Egypt. He warned this could wreck peace in the region. All right, their refusal is rooted in the fear that Israel wants to force the permanent expulsion of the Palestinians into their countries and nullify Palestinian demands for statehood. El Sisi said a mass exodus would risk bringing militants into Egypt's Sinai Peninsula, from where they might launch attacks on Israel, endangering the two countries' 40-year-old peace treaty. Okay, yes, he is correct about that, and that is a concern. They are not worried about the displacement of the Palestinians per se. They are worried about the Palestinians. Okay? This whole thing is a lie. It's rooted in the fear that they want a permanent expulsion of the Palestinians. All right? No, that's not what their fear is. Their fear is that these assholes will come over and screw frickin' shit up. There's there's something called Black September, for those who don't know. Okay? Do you know what Black September is,
Mhm.
Jensen?
I'm going to assume it's nothing to do with the Black Friday thing.
No, no, no. It's not Black Friday. It's not the Black Friday shopping
Yeah.
event. No. Black September
Okay, in that case,
was an
go for it.
uprising of Palestinians back in the I think it was the
Ah,
60s.
yes.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
in Jordan, where they attempted
Yeah.
a coup against King Hussein of Jordan. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
they killed a lot of people. The Jordanians put the revolt down brutally because they weren't playing games anymore. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
gloves came off, and they treated the Palestinians as if they were as the Palestinians thought they could treat other people. And the Palestinians
Yeah.
then were all upset and have all now whined and cried, and in fact created a terror cell called Black September in remembrance of how they were brutally repressed after they attempted a freaking coup in a country. Just
Yeah.
pointing it out here, folks. That's the real Black September. These people are not humans. They're savages and they're animals. And I
Yeah.
mean it when I say it. They have grown up
Oh yeah.
with a mentality of being savages and animals, and they support these assholes, all right? They support bashing in the heads of children. And these people are not mistreated. This is not like, all right, do you see the Palestinians being whipped by Israelis on a daily basis, all right, as they're held in shackles at a whipping post? No, you don't see that,
Oh no.
all right? Just because they had some minor offense or they dared look at somebody,
Mm-hmm.
which is what you're dealing with back in the Bacon Rebellion days. For those people
Yeah.
who wanted to compare it to Bacon's Rebellion, I have faith in Count Dankula, but not even Dank can knock up these guys. What the hell's going
Apparently, Scotland, in its infinite genius, has turned round and said, "No, no, no, we'll take all the Gaza refugees. That's fine." Because basically, I know exactly what's going to happen. They'll take them all and then they'll push them south into England.
on? Well,
I don't know
yeah,
what the plan is.
it could be. Right. The fact is nobody wants these people because they will attack their own countries and try and seize power because they're murdering
Oh yeah.
savages. That's why nobody wants them
Oh
around.
yeah.
Okay? Nobody wants them.
I don't blame them. I really do not blame them.
All right, Jensen. We've talked about the tit for tat thing going on right now in the Gaza Strip, and I've already proposed my solution to the Gaza Strip problem. Right? The last time we
You
were
have.
talking.
Just so you know, I've sent you a vid to watch after the stream. You're just going to love the career comment. That's all I'm going to say. You are
uh,
going to
uh,
love the career comment. Okay?
okay, but that's not the only conflict going on around, is it, Jensen?
Yeah, wasn't there that little thing over in sort of Eastern Europe?
Yeah,
Something about. No, I can't remember who it was. Can't be that important.
yeah.
Apparently.
Ukraine spends over
Oh yeah.
28 billion US dollars on defense this year, according to the prime minister. The Ukrainian
Hmm.
government spent more than 1.031 trillion Hervanis,
Yeah, I think that's their version.
right, to cover the country's defense needs this year. The Cabinet Press Service reported we have given them over $100 billion alone. The United States alone has given them over $100 billion, and they're only spending 28 billion of it on their own defense. Did I
Hmm.
miss something here? Am I missing something here, Jensen?
Well, it would be a little suspect were I to suggest that they're using the extra money to line their own pockets, but I would never do that. Ever. Honestly, I wouldn't.
28 billion on their defense. They're in a fight for their lives,
Yeah.
and they are. I'm not going to deny that.
Oh, yeah.
They're losing. Right. They're losing because they're being depopulated.
Yep.
Okay, for those people who don't understand this, that when this is over with, okay, whenever that is, the Russians will still be pretty much the same as they always have been, but the
Yep.
Ukrainians will be missing at least a quarter of their male population, if not
Yep.
more. All right.
I agree.
And it will be a situation in the Ukraine that was seen by Britain after World War One,
Hmm.
where the young male population had been slaughtered. You lost a
Lost
third, right?
generation.
Yeah, you lost what, a third of the men between like 16 and like 24 or something like that. I think it's something
Something
like
like
that.
that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was a horrific losses from World War One, and you're going to see something
Oh,
similar
yeah.
here. Okay,
Yeah.
because the Russians are fighting the way Russians have always fought, and the Ukrainians are fighting as the Russians fought because they're basically Russian. They're a former
Yeah.
Soviet Union. They're using former Soviet Union tactics. Yes, they have modern weaponry, right? Modern U.S. weaponry, right? But our weaponry is maximized for a different type of fight,
Yep.
and they're not able to pull it off, and they'll never be able to pull it off because it involves
Hmm.
having full integrated combat arms, and you
Yeah.
will never get a control of the air power. Strange how many terrorists now use M4s.
Hmm.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. Perhaps you can think of a country where they might have got it, or perhaps you could think of a country they got it from.
You mean
No, I'm sure that would just make me sound
Afghanistan?
paranoid. I would never make that declaration
No.
much. A bit. Okay, yes. Yes. I'm specifically stating it. Yes.
All right. Let's go back to U.S. politics for a moment because you got questions and I have answers. All right. Ready?
Okay.
House Republicans dropped Jim Jordan as their nominee for Speaker, stumbling back to square one. Republicans abruptly dropped Republican Jim Jordan from on Friday as their nominee for House Speaker, making the decision during a closed-door session after the hard-edged ally of Donald Trump failed badly in the third ballot for the gavel. The outcome left Republicans dejected, frustrated, and sinking deeper into turmoil another week. All right, without a House Speaker bordering on a full-blown crisis. House Republicans have no realistic or working plan to unite the fractured GOP majority, elect a new speaker, and return to work in Congress that has been languishing since hardliners ousted. This is a lie. Hardliners ousted Kevin McCarthy at the start of the month. Afterwards, Jordan has said simply of his colleagues, "We put the question to them. They made a different decision." Okay, now go ahead and ask away.
Okay. What are they? I mean, really, what do they think was going to happen? All right. The Democrats are not going to allow the Republicans to get anyone that's not directly controlled by them in, and they've got enough powers to do so. Period. What the hell is your country going to do? He's just going to bend over and take it from the Democrats
You,
again?
you're wrong about that.
Oh, do explain, please.
All right. The Republicans have the majority in the House. There's nothing stopping them aside from the fact that it's a slim majority, but they have the majority in the House. Okay.
Okay.
Now they said that hardliners ousted McCarthy. No, Democrats ousted McCarthy with the support of 8 hardliners. Okay, I want people to
Okay.
understand this. At no point did all the Democrats have to vote to oust McCarthy. They did. They voted as a block. In fact, if 20 of them had refused to even vote, McCarthy would still be the Speaker of the House. They didn't have to vote him out. All right. So when the Democrats keep trying their big lie, which is, the Republicans did this to themselves. No, you did it. Okay. There was 200 and something Democrats that voted to oust McCarthy, and yet you're only focusing on the eight Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
You see the point? Now, as far
Oh
as the
yeah.
Democrats having the power, the Republicans the Republicans right now are having a problem because of Trump. Okay,
Yeah.
that's the reality. There are people who absolutely hate Trump. They are never Trumpers. They are part of the GOP. Okay, and they are catching holy hell this week, right? And have been catching holy hell because they wouldn't support Jim Jeffords or Jim Jordan rather Jeffords. I'm sorry, um, Jim Jordan. Now, Jim Jordan put his name in there, but I don't think Jim Jordan wanted it, which is one of the reasons why they say that the way they made the sound is that Jim Jordan, all right, was pulled because the Republicans pushed him out. No, he pulled his name out of there. He could still be going for this. People forget it was just what a year ago, just a year ago. How many votes did they have to take to put McCarthy
I actually have no idea, mate.
in?
So you have
Nine.
to say. Oh.
They
Oh.
had
Okay.
9 votes to put McCarthy in. Jordan had 3.
Oh.
Okay. The problem with the GOP caucus is that there is a rhino wing of the GOP caucus that does not does not like the conservative agenda. Okay,
Yeah.
they do not like the stances on abortion. They give lip service to it whenever they're running, but in reality, they walk around as if those people are quote unquote rubes. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and what's happened now is the pressure is on them to come to make a deal, and their first inclination was to try and make a deal with the Democrats. That's very true. But the Democrats, their deal is you do what we tell you, or else. In other words, you become Democrats,
Yeah.
right? They can't do that because they know they'll be instantly outed when they it'll end their political careers, right? So they're trying to play a duplicitous game. They come from conservative districts and they're hearing it. These people are hearing it from their conservative base, right? And they don't want to
Mhm.
change,
Yeah.
right? That's the problem. They don't want to change. They want to sit up there and play games in the background. The problem is starts with the fact that the Democrats are communists.
Mhm.
There are no moderate Democrats. Period.
Pause one moment. From Chris, they should nominate Byron Donaldson, then call him racist for not voting for him.
Yes.
I'm going to guess Mr. Donaldson is one of our more melanated
Yes.
friends.
Yes, he is,
I
and
thought so.
actually, I
Okay.
would support him. The problem with
Oh, right.
Donaldson is the only reason why they haven't he is not up for nomination is he's too new to Congress. He just got in.
Okay.
He just got in. He's pretty much a freshman congressman. Okay, he
Oh,
doesn't,
okay.
and
Yeah.
so he doesn't have the seasoning necessary, right? But
Yeah.
he's he's a very he's a very articulate individual. Okay, he would be a great pick. Okay, he really would.
Yeah.
All right, and
Okay.
I
Fair.
personally don't have a problem with picking him. All right,
Mhm.
this is all going to sit up there and turn into a backroom deal. Now, what they've done is they've called a halt to everything over the weekend. Now, here's the problem that they're not seeing. Here's the reason this is going this way. The hardline Republicans know there's one thing they can continue to do, which is hold out, all right,
Yeah.
because this has been going on for what, 3 weeks now?
Yeah.
Okay. What happens in another 3 or 4 weeks? Do you know?
They all turn into witches? I'm guessing it's nothing to do with Halloween. Now, go on.
No, it has nothing to do with Halloween. Halloween's only a week away, by the way.
I know, but I'm getting inventive here.
So the stupid idea was to fire all the leftist bureaucrats and replace them all with conservative bureaucrats. The idea is to fire all the freaking leftist bureaucrats and not hire back anybody.
Hmm.
That's the conservative methodology. A true conservative. Okay, just you know, they passed. Why was McCarthy ousted? McCarthy was ousted, right,
Was
because of
Go
the
on.
budget deal, right?
Yeah.
That budget deal was what that budget deal was what they called a continuing resolution.
Mhm.
And the reason he was ousted is that that budget deal included money for the Ukraine. Okay, got that so far?
Okay.
But that
Yeah,
continuing
yeah.
resolution was short term. It was only for 45 days.
Ah.
All right.
Mm. Mm.
So the problem that the moderates and the anti-Trumpers have is the fact that the hardliners will get what they want just by sitting on their
Yeah.
hands right now. Because when that continuing resolution, that time frame comes up, the what they can't do with that is borrow more money and continue going further in debt. Okay, it doesn't actually shut the government down the way people keep claiming it will. It will not shut the government down. What it
Yeah.
will do is it'll force them not to. It'll force the executive branch to only pay for what it has. Okay, pay as it goes. In other words, as revenue comes in, they can spend up to that revenue, but they can't go into more debt to spend more than the revenue that's coming in. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. Something they're not going to be happy with.
Well, yeah, because they're $1.7 trillion. They're running a $1.7 trillion deficit. All right, on a $5 trillion budget. All right,
Yeah.
or excuse me, we're five. Their income is $5 trillion. Their outlay is one
Yeah.
point what or 6.7 trillion is what
Yeah.
they're spending.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got 5 trillion coming in, and you're spending another trillion and so forth above that. You're spending way beyond your
Yeah.
means. Okay,
Yeah.
so with the revenues collected in taxes and so forth, right, are at an all-time high in this country.
So spending.
Well, spending's that far out of control, but where's the money going? Now, you can complain about the Ukraine and all these other things, and that is a problem. I'm not going to deny it.
Mm.
Okay, but the vast majority of it has been basically been squandered, and it's being squandered.
Oh, yeah.
So what it'll force the president to do is it'll force the president to decide, okay, what am I going to pay for, what I'm not going to pay for, okay, and there's certain agencies that just need to be gone, okay. You, all right, you walk into the Department of Education and you say, every one of you hit the road. That's what you could do. Every single one. Bye. You tell all the defense contractors, I'm sorry, but I'm paying the troops. I'm not paying you. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Before it should be.
it's not difficult. Okay.
No.
Right. Let me rephrase. It's not like these things can't be determined. But see, the other budgetary stuff where they've been squandering money. All right. They don't want to sit up there and let the public know about it. Right.
Yeah.
But see, that's what's going to happen because the conservatives, the hardcore conservatives, know they just have to wait another 3 weeks, and all this comes back again, and all this when they sit up there and go back in there and say, "You want a deal? You're going to have to deal with us." And they're doing this
Well,
and they're doing this very simply because I can hear it already. Well, then why can't these other Republicans, just join the Democrats? They
yeah.
want them to. They want
Yeah.
these rhinos gone.
Ah. Okay.
When
All right. Yeah.
Jordan went for speaker, how many people voted against him? 20. They want those 20
Yeah.
gone. This
Even
is
though it'll mean that they'll lose out themselves, they're
they
still
won't
okay with this.
they won't lose out
They will.
themselves
Oh.
because what'll happen is those districts from those 20 are pretty much safe
Yeah.
Republican districts. They know that once they oust them, they'll put somebody in there that's actually going to be doing the job of conservatives.
Oh.
That's why
Okay.
that's see otherwise if it was a purple district, all right, those people wouldn't be vote. They wouldn't have any problem jumping over and becoming Democrats.
Fair.
Happens all the time for you guys too, right? Where they flip parties.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. As we call it, crossing the aisle. But we've got actually something fairly similar. England, oh sorry, Britain is basically borrowing much more than we can provide. Though don't want to break to you. I think you guys are actually winning. You guys are basically like plus 25%. I
Yeah,
think we're only about plus 7%.
yeah,
That's quite
which is bad
scary.
enough. Which is bad enough, right?
Oh yeah, and I have no idea who this dude is.
Uncle Ben,
Okay.
Uncle Ben Franklin was also Spider-Man's uncle. All right.
No, no, you
Trump,
Tom
Trump
Emmer guy. No
Trump
idea
tells
who he is.
allies he doesn't support Tom Emmer's speaker bid. Former President Donald
Mhm,
Trump's privately conveyed to allies on Friday that this is from Politico, by the way. All right, that he does not
mhm.
back House Majority Whip. All right, Tom Emmer's bid for Speaker, throwing another wrench into an already chaotic process to find the next person to hold the gavel. Trump's conversations come as Emmer has begun privately expressing his interest in the post. The Minnesota Republican, who has been making calls to fellow lawmakers, has emerged as a front runner. All right, early front runner, having received endorsement from former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Both a sustained offensive from Trump. All right, if one materializes, but a sustained offensive from Trump, if one materializes, could spell doom, as any candidate for the job can only afford to lose a handful of votes. Um, Emmer is the whip for the Republican whip. Okay, he's
Mhm.
he's shit. Okay, okay. If
Why
he
not just say how you feel, man?
Well, let me ask a question. If he wasn't shit,
Hmm.
why are we in this situation?
This is a fair statement.
If he wasn't a shit at his job about whipping Republican votes into line, okay.
Yeah.
If he wasn't shit at his job, we wouldn't be in this situation. Why would you pick him? He's
Fair.
shit. Now he might be a better speaker, all right? than but the reality is he's shit. He's a shit job. All right.
Okay.
Let's go back overseas, shall we?
Yeah.
Toshiba to delist in Japan on December 20th after 74 years of history.
Yeah. Wow.
Tokyo. Japanese conglomerate Toshiba Corporation said Thursday it will be delisted from the Tokyo Stock Exchange on December 20th, ending its 74-year-old long history as a public company as it seeks to rebuild itself following a takeover bid. Last month, a 2 trillion yen, $13 billion takeover uh, from a by a consortium led by Japan Industrial Partners Incorporated, all right, ended in success. Toshiba also, I love how they put
Yeah.
that. The takeover bid ended in success. It's just kind of an odd phrasing,
Hmm.
yeah, isn't it? Toshiba
Oh yeah.
also said it will convene an extraordinary shareholders meeting or an extraordinary shareholders meeting on November 22nd in Tokyo to discuss share consolidation and other agendas in a bid to squeeze out the remaining shareholders. All right, the JIP-led group, which consists of companies such as the financial firm Oryx, all right, and semiconductor company Rome, all right, has acquired 78.65% stake in Toshiba. All right, through the tender offer. The bid was intended to allow Toshiba to sever ties with its overseas activist shareholders, who it says are only seeking short-term returns. Um, Goblin Slayer 2 season 2 has started. All right, all right, Master Barkley, welcome. By the way,
Based on that, the whole Goblin Slayer thing, I only ever watched episode 1 of season 1, and I have absolutely no interest in that show. There was no hook to me. It did not get my attention. It was literally a waste of artwork, in my opinion. But that is only my opinion.
you have to you have to be a fan of the manga first,
Yeah.
and the manga, because it's a manga, can go into deeper detail. Okay,
Yeah.
and there's going to be, I can tell you now, I have never watched an episode of it. I would not have,
Okay.
I would never have even attempted to try and serialize through an anime version of Goblin Slayer. Okay,
Okay.
because the internal discussions, all right, are very different than what you expect. Okay, for example, all right, the way the author writes, and I love this because it's something that
Hmm.
when I wrote a story one time, I was doing, right? Which is
Okay.
there is a character that you talk about only in the first person, what the person does, what the person says, et cetera, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But everyone else is talked is a third person character. In other words, they go into not just what they say and do, but also how they think and what they're thinking from time to time. These different aspects. They just don't ever do it with that character, with the main character.
Okay.
Okay, they don't go into his thought process.
Yeah.
And it in the manga it presents an entire different dynamic. All right, as all these people slowly coalesce around him. All right, starting of course with the one female cleric
That's, yeah.
who creates a love interest with him in a way. Okay,
Mm.
there's
Yeah.
several, of course, love interest things going on, right? There's several
Okay.
women that are infatuated with him, but they're not all the women are infatuated with him. Just so you understand, okay? But there are some that
Yeah. Yeah.
obviously are. But he's very he's totally committed and totally single-minded to killing goblins. Okay.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
In fact, he gets asked, "Why aren't you going for more expensive things? Why aren't you trying to kill demons and all these other things and these other island goes? Because then goblins would be allowed to go free." Okay.
I gotta respect that.
Right. And of course, what it's doing is it's causing ripple effects because the goblins were always the foot soldiers of the demons and everything else, and were always allowed to expand, which then allowed the demons then to expand their territories in the background, right? Before they did any kind of big
Okay.
massacres, right? And because of all the
Yeah.
things that he keeps doing, he keeps interfering with this. It
Mhm.
can't, and so he keeps running into more and more problems. There's other issues that are involved in it, but that's so the manga is far more than what you can do, like I said, in an anime and really do it right.
Yeah.
For example, the
Yeah.
first if you were going to do just the first chapter,
Yeah.
right, where he goes in and is introduced to the female cleric, saves her, and then goes on her first outing with him, right?
Hmm.
That's you would have to you would need almost an hour to do it justice. Almost an hour just on that one episode.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So anyway,
Okay.
we got a bit sidetracked. But Toshiba is gone.
Yes.
Toshiba is no longer. I mean, Toshiba has been a known name for ever.
As far as I cannot think of a time where sheep was not involved. So.
Well, part of the problem that it was dealing with is the fact that it also is one of the major contributors to Fukushima as far as building it and everything, right?
Oh, whoops. Mm-hmm.
Well, not whoops. I mean, they built the plant 40 freaking years ago. People forget this.
True.
All right, they built it 40 years ago. It was supposed to only last 20 years, right? It was they just kept
Mm,
renewing it because they didn't want to tear it down, right?
yeah.
And build a new one. Okay, but it was intended and
Fair.
designed to be around for just 20 years, right? And the plant
Yeah.
itself technically didn't fail per se, right? The problem is an outmoded mentality towards certain things, which is understandable but not. And that is a lot of the cooling and everything else that it has, it wants to get from an outside source so it's not dependent on its internals. Okay. The problem with that
Thing.
the problem with that is in the case of a natural disaster, which the tsunami was, the tsunami took out those
Yeah.
other electrical plants. It became a single taking out those plants then became a single point of failure
Yeah.
because it couldn't use its own electricity. If it could have used its own
Yeah.
electricity, if they allowed for something like that, then it wouldn't have been a problem. Okay, on to the next story.
Mm-hmm.
Woman mistakenly given abortion medication by CVS instead of the IVF hormones. They just killed my baby. Tamika Thomas says all I got was a sorry from CVS for the tragic ending of her pregnancy. A Las Vegas woman who dreamed of having a big family since her childhood was mistakenly given an abortion pill instead of IVF hormones by CVS Pharmacy, ending her pregnancy, and she said all she got was a sorry. According to a report by 8 News Now, the Las Vegas resident Tamika Thomas in 2019 wanted to add one more to her family of four. Thomas does not come from a big family, so as an adult, she and her husband wanted to make her dreams of a big family come true. In her 30s, Thomas said she was struggling to getting pregnant. She had two ectopic ectopic pregnancies.
Ectopic pregnancy.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Which led to having her fallopian tubes removed, according to the report. Even though they were not insured for the costs, they would endure. They decided to pay for in vitro fertilization. All right, which is the
Mm-hmm.
IVF. The report says the doctors sedated Thomas, inserted two eggs inside of her body, all right, and sent her home with prescriptions, one of which would trick her body into producing enough hormones to kickstart her pregnancy. All right, you have to make yourself think it's pregnant. Thomas told 8 News Now, all right, we're taking a lot of supplements to make our bodies think it's pregnant. Okay, I'm going to be real blunt. The 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 person uh, in the pharmacy, the pharmacist or whoever handed her the pills, needs to be
Mm-hmm.
immediately investigated. All right, for criminal behavior,
Oh yeah.
because I suspect, and I have no proof, and I'm not saying that the person did it, and I don't know who the person was. But when people want to have large families, there's people out there, there's leftist loons out there that say, you know, no, you've had enough, and I'm going to take care of this. It wouldn't surprise me in the
Yeah.
slightest, okay, if somebody gave her these pills intentionally,
Yeah.
thinking, well, I'm doing this for her own good. She'll thank me later. That's the mentality of these people.
Yeah.
How do you mix these drugs up? Okay,
You shouldn't be able to. I know.
right. 8 Now investigators obtained documents that outline how the two technicians and two pharmacists made a series of errors that led to this. According to one report, one technician incorrectly believing she knew the generic name for the brand prescribed by the doctor, entered the wrong name into the prescription. Bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
One pharmacist did not catch the error, and another pharmacist failed to console, all right, Thomas when she picked up her medicine, which that's illegal.
Yep.
Okay, just so people know, pharmacists are required by law in most states anyway, all right, to tell you unless this is a recurring medicine that you've taken many times, right?
Mm-hmm.
They will sit up there and read what it is, and then they'll tell you this is what it's for. Do you have any questions?
Yeah.
So yeah, everyone at the CVS should be fired. And to be honest, CVS, if it had any brains at all, should have stood up there and immediately not just issuing an apology was fine. We should have followed it with we're going to pay for all your medical bills and this whole treatment going forward with this. That's what they should
Oh,
have done,
yes.
right? Um, just to avoid what's coming. Because you know as well as I do, Jensen, hell's on its way.
Oh, yes.
There will be hell to pay
Unless, of
for this.
course, unless, of course, she is ahem, persuaded not to raise a fuss.
You do that by giving her money.
Or
Okay.
threatening her. No, no, no. Or threatening her.
With what?
To use the gang term, it's lead or silver. Which
Well,
one do you want?
yeah, I think that I think that it doesn't quite work that way with our. Let me rephrase this. It doesn't work that way with most of our corporations.
Yeah, let's hope you are correct.
Like I said, most of our corporations.
I,
There are corporations
yeah.
that will do it, but CVS is a pharmacy corporation. They're not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There are some others.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Pfizer might, for example, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
no. Oregon removes writing, reading, and math mastery, all right, from high school graduation requirements. What a surprise! Explains a lot about
The
Dodge, now
most
doesn't it?
basic things. It does actually, doesn't it? But that is literally the basic three things. Over here, it was known as 3 R's: reading, writing, arithmetic. Okay?
Yeah,
It was the most basic things you could possibly have, and they want to remove it.
yeah.
Oh boy.
The Oregon State Board of Education unanimously voted on Thursday to remove proof of mastery in reading, writing, and math in order to graduate from high school until 2029. The board argued that requiring all students to pass one of several standardized tests or to create an in-depth assignment, all right, their teacher or an in-depth assignment their teacher judged as meeting state
Yeah.
standards, okay, was harmful hurdle for students of color, disabled students, and those learning English as a second language.
Yeah.
Then they shouldn't be graduating. What are they
Yeah.
graduating from?
I'll give you three guesses.
What What's the purpose of sending them to school?
Mm-hmm.
In Oregon, it's not to learn skills, a skill set that you'll use for the rest of your life, which I disagree with people like Girardi. You do, right,
Mm-hmm.
by these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
You do use math. You do use algebra. You just don't realize you're
Yes.
using it.
Yes.
Hey, Sean. This is an interesting story from the
Mm.
Washington Post. Police say Maryland judge was killed in targeted attack after custody hearing.
Yeah. I heard about this.
Pedro Agro was beset by worries that he might lose custody of his 4 children as his acrimonious divorce lurched to a conclusion in a Maryland courtroom Thursday after dragging on for more than a year, his former attorney said. I'll bet he's former attorney. Right? The word former being the operative word here. Right?
Yeah.
Washington County Circuit Judge Andrew Wilkinson, all right, did exactly what our goat feared in granting the divorce. He awarded full legal custody to the children of our goat's estranged wife Eugenia, and ordered the father not to have any contact with any of them. Court records show. Hours later, Aragot allegedly shot Wilkinson multiple times, fatally wounding the 52-year-old judge in the driveway of his Hagerstown home. All right, in Washington County Sheriff Brian K. Albert said on Friday. Well, you know who else lives in Hagerstown, by the way? Steve Shives.
Go on. Yeah.
All right.
Oh.
The judge's
Mm-hmm.
wife and son were home at the time. Aragot, 49, fled, right, and remained on the loose Friday night, described by authorities as armed and dangerous. I think that that's probably an accurate assessment, right? The U.S. Marshal
Yeah.
Service said it is looking for him and offering a $10,000 reward. Why is the Marshal Service looking for him and not the FBI?
Good
This is a
question, actually.
this is a targeted attack, Albert said at a news conference. The slaying of the popular judge, who was appointed to the bench in 2020, drew an outpouring of economs, economans. Oh, I don't know what the hell that means. All right, from former
No,
colleagues,
me.
politicians, and the Maryland's governor. To me, that's not an endorsement from former colleagues, politicians, and the Maryland governor. Just pointing out that that's
Fair.
just pointing this out. That's like saying he deserved it.
It is, isn't it?
All right. All right. It also renewed fears about the safety of judges and other public officials in an era where threats and attacks have become increasingly alarming. As a precaution, the Maryland State Police deployed deputies to protect other judges in Washington County, which is about 75 miles northeast of, or northwest rather, of D.C. The state Senator Paul D. Quarterman, Republican from Washington, said Wilkinson was a true champion of our community and the type of person you'd want on the bench. Right, the shooting hit home for Quarterman because of his late father, Washington Circuit Judge John P. Quarterman, who was injured by a mail bomb disguised as a Christmas gift. All right, in 1989. Being a judge is not an easy job, and unfortunately, we saw last night one of the worst things that could ever happen. Okay, I'm going to be real controversial here, right? You took away the guy's children and then ordered him never to see his children again.
Yep.
Okay? Now, I don't know the specifics in this case, but I'm going to be honest with you from what I've read. If you read through the rest of the story, nothing indicates that he was violent toward his wife. Nothing indicates that he was really violent toward his kids. Violent,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
There were domestic arguments that police had been called about. Okay, but they said the judge found that there had been cruelty of treatment. All right, and
Hmm.
that the pair had irreconcilable differences. What the hell is cruelty of treatment?
Yeah.
Telling her that she's a all sorts of dirty names. Yeah, I'm serious.
Probably, yeah. No, that probably was the case.
Well, it makes you wonder if that's the case, right? Now, if he's beating
Yeah.
her or something like that, then why didn't you arrest him then for
Exactly.
domestic abuse or something like that?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to understand the situation here, but from what I've seen, at most, okay, this judge went overboard with his ruling,
Yeah.
siding with the woman and all the, oh, he did this to me, woe is me crap. that women normally get in these kinds of cases. He should have closed the account so his wife didn't have access to it. He may have. I mean, it's you know, he engages in absolute control over their mother, their finances, and their lives. Okay. First of all, what do you mean by absolute control over the mother? Obviously not, or there wouldn't have been a divorce. Just pointing it
Right.
out. Okay. Now, as far as their finances goes, he's the one making the money.
Yep.
Just putting it out there. Okay. All right.
Problem is they do generally go judge on the side of the woman most of the time. Not all the time, but
Well,
most of the time.
that's my point here, right? But like I said, it looks to me as if this supposed great and wonderful judge went overboard in this case. That's what
Yeah.
and this is just a surface viewing of this. But unless you have some reason to believe that there is something in this, because this guy, it looks like this judge went overboard, right, to punish this guy because he just didn't like him for whatever reason. Probably
Yeah.
because his name was Pedro. You never know.
Worryingly, possibly. Yeah.
Maybe he came in one day wearing a freaking MAGA hat. Who knows? If he'd have done that, that'd have been all over the news too.
Oh
MAGA nut
God, would
jobs
it?
that they're so just put it out there. I'm not saying the guy did that either. All right.
Hmm. Oh, Sean's had a suggestion. Did she want to transition the kids? And he said no.
It's a possibility too.
No. They didn't execute him in the court. They would probably done that if he refused to transition children.
Probably.
Hmm.
Are there any repeat?
Oh yeah.
There have been reports of domestic disturbance, but there was never any arrests or anything that details any kind of violence. He had no
Yeah.
criminal record. Alrighty, you ready to go to the next story here?
Oh yes.
Let me let's play this. Okay, I'm gonna play this again for y'all. Did you see this flying over here and it ends up over here?
Oh yeah.
What is this, Jensen?
I obviously it's his communication with God, also known as his telephone.
All right. What is
I have
this?
pointed out they're evil. Okay, I want it clear
What is
before
this?
we go any further.
Oh,
They're
let me go a little
evil.
further.
Hmm.
All right. Did you see this part? No. We'll go like a little further. Let's go back. Watch them.
Hmm.
You saw the car and you didn't get out of the
Yep.
way.
No. Everyone should get out of his way. I'm on my phone. By the way, I've actually
I'm
been on the
not
receiving end
defending
of
the
that
guy
stuff.
who hit him. Okay, do not
No.
misunderstand me, right? Because that's obviously very dangerous. But
Plus, of course, he broke the law. It
neither
specifically
this
says stop. You can't really
neither
miss that
this
bit.
woman who's walking right
Hmm.
behind him with her child. See, the woman sees the car and stops. Of course, she has her stops with her child in the street still. Okay, but dumbass on the phone just kept walking. All
Yeah.
right, dumbass on the phone kept walking, expecting nothing to happen to him. Okay,
Hmm.
this guy. I'm not saying that the guy in the vehicle shouldn't be charged because he should be. Okay,
Oh yes.
but this is the kind of
Dangerous driving.
stupidity. This is the kind of stupidity, all right, for people that drives me absolutely crazy when I stop at crosswalks and see this kind of behavior from these frippin' morons. And yes, you were a moron. This guy did not stop. He did not slow down. He was looking at his phone the entire time and just started walking across the freaking street.
Yeah.
And he tried to opt out of the gene pool. He sees the car and then looks at it as if somehow that car, which is coming, is going to teleport out of his way instead of going
Well, yeah.
jumping back, like which would be the normal reaction a person should have.
Yep.
This person didn't believe this car was actually going to hit him because he's a moron. Like I
Agree,
said,
but I do
the
like.
woman with the stroller. Now she's not too smart either because the stroller was in the street, right? Instead of stopping and pulling the stroller back out of the sidewalk, But she
Think
sees the
that, wouldn't
car
you?
and
Yeah.
because she's looking. This guy didn't look up. He just walked out in the middle of the freaking street. All right, thinking that there's some magical fairy around him. There's this magical freaking teleportation fairy that's going to teleport the vehicles out of his freaking way.
Yep. I
Dude,
agree with Sean. When does the BLM riot start?
I don't think the guy was black. I think it was the white kid. What are you talking about?
You both know he's white. But
Right.
let's be fair, most of the people in Black Lives Matter aren't black, so
Well, that's probably true too. But this woman sees this coming a long ways away. And his
Yeah.
first, the thing is he's so distraught by this that his first thing is, oh, I gotta go get my phone.
Yeah.
I gotta go get my phone. Oh, my phone. And
Yeah.
I'll be impressed if the phone survived. See, it's like the old
It
Timex
turns people
commercials.
into zombies.
Takes a licking and keeps on ticking. That would be a
There
good
you go.
freaking endorsement for it. But it does. You're right. It turns people into zombies. And first of all, for those who don't know, this was an 11-year-old boy. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
what's he doing with a cell phone?
Waiting for that. I knew that was coming next. I agree.
Okay, there's a lot of culpability in this case. Put the guy
Yeah.
in jail for this, right? I tell you one thing: if he had a banner that stood up there and said, "Just stop oil," I'd have been suggesting the guy get a
Yep.
medal, but that's a separate issue, right? Just point it out. If it
Oh,
was
from
just
Matt. Sorry, from Matt. Funeral for the phone at Sunday at 3 p.m. Yeah, after all, the phone's the only thing that's important in this equation. Or at least, let's be fair, the phone's probably the most intelligent thing
well,
in this
what's bad
thing.
is this kid probably went home, sat up there, and explained all this to his mother, and his mother probably started beating on him for freaking breaking the phone.
Yeah,
That's the sad part about this,
yep.
right? Instead of the husband coming home and beating the wife for giving the child the phone, which is what should have happened. It's a joke, folks. It's a
Mm,
joke. Don't take it things too seriously. I'm not talking
from
about
him, it was a joke.
you.
Not necessarily from me. I want that clear.
Ah. Priest smashes Halloween pumpkins carved by local kids over fears of satanic symbols. A priest destroyed a number of pumpkins carved by children because he was unhappy at having satanic symbols on sacred grounds. Local kids had cut up the vegetables as part of the Halloween festivals held in the village of Kudjov, all right, in the Czech Republic.
Yeah.
However, Father Hermor Semjuka, yeah. Anyway, all right, saw them near his church. When he saw them near his church, he went on a rampage and stomped the lot over 2 days. Several of the young children were said to have been left in tears as a result of his actions, which he later apologized for in an open letter, which was published in the village Facebook page. Go ahead, Jensen. You were making a
Well,
comment earlier.
Oh, you going to want me to point out the fact that I said to you about how the Christians
Oh yes, yes, very much so.
took over the thing? Oh, that. Well, you did make it clear, claiming that they didn't, and they only took over the next day. After all, they wouldn't want to be connected with something as dark and as twisted as Halloween, now would they?
Oh, okay. Halloween, the whole term
You and here,
Halloween comes from All
yeah,
Hallows Eve, right?
Hallows Eve, I know.
Right. And it All Hallows Eve precedes All Saints Day, right?
Yes.
Or as the Latins like to say, the Latin Americans like to say, the Day of the Dead.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, he says, despite all his rage, he's still right in the cage. Um, the attempt was to remove the symbols of the dead the way Christianity did, so that they could celebrate saints, right? They
Yeah.
wanted the people focusing away from celebrating the dead to celebrating the saints. So,
Yeah.
is that what happened, Jensen? Are people celebrating the saints?
No, and I'm fighting every urge I've got to actually not start going off on this because technically, and this is where you might not like what I'm about to say, so prepare thyself, sir. Surely the Christian religion is basically all about worship of the dead. After all, to put it bluntly, Christ died. Okay, granted, he resurrected, but he still died. And the symbol that is shown as the primary symbol of his religion is a dead dude on a cross.
It's the cross, but
You want to, yeah.
not necessarily the dead dude on the cross. Although that
Well, a
is
lot
more
of
of a
crucifixes do actually have it.
that
That's
that,
the
that
reason
is
I
that
make that
is
point.
that is a the crucifix is something that is very prominent in Roman Catholicism, whereas in
Yes,
other quote unquote Christian religions, it's more just the symbol of the cross, right?
I know,
So from the
but
symbolic nature of it. Okay, um, but how popular is All Saints Day?
let's be fair. 99.9% of people probably never even heard of it.
Okay, um, so observant Catholics, all right, it is a day
Hmm.
of what they call holy obligation for people who don't know. All right,
Yeah,
which is a day they're supposed to attend church. Okay,
yeah.
um, the so from that perspective, this has kind of been a failure. All right, the symbols, dressing up, and everything else. They really took something that all right was pagan, right, and
Hmm.
attempted to make it Christian, and it remained more pagan than it ever became Christian. All right,
Yeah,
all right. It is what it is. Right. I'm not
yeah.
justifying the priest's action. Please don't misunderstand me. Okay.
No, no.
And even he realized that he was out of control and rage and stuff because the thing is you got to keep things within proper perspective. Right. There's a huge difference between
Hmm.
running around with a pumpkin, all right, or a jack o' lantern, right, and you know declaring that you're a Satanist. Okay, just putting it
Yeah.
out there.
A tiny little bit of a difference.
Right.
Now, of course, the question is, did Mr. Priest actually rip the shirt off his back and start laying about himself with a knotted rope to punish himself? After all, technically he
That
should.
why is he part of that sect of the Jesuits that do that? I think it's the Jesuits that
He
do
should
that,
be.
right?
I believe you may well be correct with that. I'm not 100% certain, but you may well be right with that. But the point is to show basically humility of what he's done, he should punish himself. After all, he answers technically
Is
to
he a
two
Templar
people.
Knight?
One's
Do
in
you
rope.
do you, do you think he's a Templar?
He should be. Oh no, no, no! If you're going to do,
Jensen
if
wants to bring back the Templar Knights.
actually, yeah, actually, I really do. I absolutely support that concept.
I, Jensen, I don't know what to say to you.
I'm doing my best not to say Diaz Vault here. Give me a break. Okay.
On to the next story. Healthcare
Before we
workers
get
picket
really
outside U.S. hospitals in multiple states, kicking off a 3-day strike. Los Angeles, tens of thousands of Kaiser Permanente workers took to the picket lines in multiple states on Wednesday, launching a massive strike that the company warned could cause delays at its hospitals and clinics that serve nearly 13 million Americans. The coalition of Kaiser Permanente unions, right, representing about 85,000 of the health systems employees nationally, right, approved a strike for 3 days in California, Colorado, Oregon, and Washington. Okay. California, Colorado, Oregon, and Washington. The deep
what power
blue
can you think of
states.
connects all three of them?
The deep blue states. Okay. Now, Kaiser, for those who don't know, all right, Kaiser Permanente is a massive, and I have to say it this way, it is a massive healthcare conglomerate. All right, but as the the states show, it's out west only, and really only on the coast. It may have some elements inside of Colorado, all right, but for the most part, it's completely California and the west coast. Okay,
Hmm.
is the area that it consolidated, and it controls most of California. All right, it's not even a joke. They are pretty much the only
Hmm.
healthcare coalition, and they also have sell health insurance and everything else. All right, they own hospitals, they
Okay.
sell insurance, they have doctors working under them. They are, when you want to talk about the Borg, you're talking Kaiser Permanente. Okay,
Okay.
just so you understand how big they are. Right now,
Yeah.
they said they have in their union, okay, 85,000 employees. 85,000 healthcare workers in the state of California, Washington, and Oregon.
It's not bad.
Do you even have 85,000 healthcare workers in your entire island?
No. Well, I don't know, but theoretically, no.
Right? Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see my point?
Oh yes. Oh no, I do.
And with those three states, right, with California, your population wise, you're about the same size. And this is only one
Yeah.
healthcare company. One.
Yeah.
Okay. And the idea that it serves nearly 13 million Americans is bullcrap because it serves, like
Hmm.
I said, all of California, which is 50 million people.
Yeah.
Okay, just pointing it
It's
out.
quite amusing, really. 13 million citizens, or as we call it, not even all of those that come into London on a daily basis. So,
Well,
you know,
that's what it's saying it's serving. Okay,
yes.
but at this point in time, the reason they went on strike is because they were under the opinion. I guarantee you, these people were under the impression, right, that good old Newsom will immediately give in to their demands. All right,
Let's see how
and
that goes.
that and that one of the demands that they had just recently attempted to do, and it went right through their legislature. Newsom vetoed it. It'll probably be overridden, but Newsom did veto it. Was when you go on strike, we're going to pay you for unemployment,
Ah, oh, okay.
So, yeah, how many of those
I don't see that
85,000 are
going so
competent?
well.
Well, you got to remember how many of those people are actually working. All
Hmm.
right. What they're going to be doing real soon is looking for a new job. 37-year-old
Yeah.
man arrested for vandalizing Laredo Heights neighborhood with swastikas. Authorities have arrested a suspect whom they believe to be responsible for recovering the Laredo Heights neighborhood with swastikas last week. Robert Haymore, 37, was arrested in Inglewood. This is in California, by the way, in the LA area, right? On Tuesday, after their investigation determined that he was the suspect in the repeat vandalism that happened on multiple occasions last week. In each incident, residents woke up to find the symbol spray painted or scratched into the paint of their cars. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department says that he will be holding Haymore in custody as they prepare to present the case for filing with the district attorney. Additional victims of the vandalism are asked to call blah blah blah. Now,
Hmm.
can you guess who this guy actually is?
Go on.
Let's see. Let's use the
Um,
Google machine, shall we? And we'll sit up there
oh,
and do a
God.
copy here, and we'll go into
Hmm.
Google and we'll type in image.
Hmm.
If I can learn how to type, right?
Hmm.
And let's just take a quick look if we can find the image. That's not going to show me anything. Let's go back.
No.
I
Tricky
want the image
images
in.
at the top.
Oh,
Yeah.
duh. What a surprise. This
Well,
is
well, well. See the shock. Hmm.
the very guy who was decrying Nigerian MAGA country strikes again. The very guy who was sitting there decrying all this stuff is the one actually perpetrating the crime. Does this
Yeah.
surprise anyone?
No.
Okay. Um, I look, the Nazi symbolism and everything is horrific. Okay, there's been a rise of real anti-Semitism in the country, in the United States and around the world. It exists. Kids shouting, praise, Alu Akbar as they walk down the streets in Dearborn in Michigan, in schools,
Hmm.
in public schools and everything. None of that should be going on. Okay, that's a reality. The problem that I have is that the ADL encouraged this kind of behavior and now is running around going, "What's with anti-Semites? Look at all the anti-Semites around there." Well, yeah, you helped create them.
Yep.
Okay, you went out of your way to push freaking leftist policies where everyone's the victim. All right, and when the victim ideology is also an ideology that quite frankly is anti-Semitic, how do you stop it then? Because you were freaking promoting it. Look
Agree.
at Greta Thunberg's little picture show should have shown that Jews for Palestine.
Yeah.
Free Palestine. These are murdering savages. Okay. From the New York Post. Bigfoot spotted in Colorado in broad daylight. It's all on camera. We're convinced. Please. He was popping a
Yeah.
Sasquatch. A couple on a romantic break in Colorado claims to have captured the mythological creature Bigfoot on camera, wandering on the side of a mountain before sitting down to rest, all in broad daylight. Professed eyewitness Shannon and Stetson Parker, enjoying a trip for their 10th wedding anniversary, claimed to observe new language, claimed to have observed the legendary lummox, all right, while enjoying a sightseeing tour in the narrow gauge rail line between Durango and Silverton in the Centennial's State's southwest side. And this is Bigfoot. I, I'm trying to get a picture of it. Here, it blows up a little bit. You can see the thing there. I'm trying to get a better look of this. Let's go back.
Yeah.
All right. Just to show you the video. There was a video that was associated with this. It is
Mm-hmm.
quite evidently a guy in a freaking white.
Suit.
Right. Yeah, it's a guy in a suit. Right. It's pretty obvious that it's a guy in a suit.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not saying that the happy couple, assuming they're happy, on their 10th wedding anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that they knew it was a a a thing, that they knew it was real or not. Right? I'm not saying they were in on it, but yeah.
Do you think it was possibly military testing their brush ghillie suits? Do you think that's what it was?
Then they failed. They're not supposed to be spotted.
That's true, actually. Yeah, that does show a failure in the making. I can't really disagree with you there. It was so obvious to see it was spotted from orbit. What does that say, really?
I think it could be heard shouting, "This is MAGA country." Oh, guys everywhere. All right. Now, Kaiser Permanente, they're striking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's why. Nurse survives plastic spork attack in Louisiana hospital.
Told you sports were dangerous. No one believed me.
A Louisiana nurse survived an attempted spork stabbing by an extremely combative and aggressive patient. Officers were dispatched yesterday to the Glenwood Regional Health Center's Behavioral Health Unit. All right, well, that should be your first clue. Behavioral Health Unit. All right, in reference to a disturbance around 2 a.m. What were you doing with 2 a.m. that you were feeding
Mm-hmm.
an individual? Upon arrival at the the West Monroe facility, the hospital staff told the cops that Madison Birmingham, 19, had been extremely combative and aggressive towards staff and made numerous threats. The patient was arrested after a female nurse said Bingham attempted to stab her with a plastic spork. The nurse was able to dodge the alleged spork stabbing. Assault by deadly spork.
There are just so many bad jokes that could occur here. You know that.
Monroe,
It's a good job Batman's not around.
Monroe, who lives in Vicksburg, Mississippi, was arrested on a simple assault and misdemeanor and booked into the local parish jail where she has been locked up in lieu of $500 bond. A probable cause affidavit does not reveal why Birmingham was in the hospital or whether the sport was seized as evidence.
I don't even know where to begin. Mm-hmm.
See now, if the cops sit up there, threw her on the ground, tased her, and shot her, then they might have a case of abuse.
Let's be honest, okay?
Put the
We
spork
should
down.
be thankful.
Put the spork down. She had a spork.
We should be thankful they're not trying to suggest that it was an AR-15 tax spork, okay? Because you know that that's coming. It's going to happen. Some muppet is going to do that.
If a 19-year-old female attacked me with a sport, the first thing I would do is slap her in the face, and then I'd probably slap her again just for being stupid. Okay. Yeah. I mean, let's be perfectly frank here.
Basically, I mean, unless she's going for the eye, it's not going to do any real damage.
Common sense sport control.
Mm-hmm. Ban all sports.
Are you legally licensed to carry that sport
Mm, Don't. They're going to suggest this.
concealed?
Hmm.
Felony charge, sir.
I,
Illegally
I
hiding
actually just
sport.
remember when you guys were taking the mickey out of the British and the sporks. Okay? We warned you. All right? We warned your ass about sporks. It's not our fault if you don't
Your
listen.
sporks are metal. This is a plastic sport.
Yes, because you're not allowed anything that dangerous over there. Come on.
Oh my god.
Nobody needs that many points on this. Oh, dear.
Assault wiffle ball.
That's a horrific thought right there.
We're not done.
No, that was actually the sensible one. That's the problem. The next one's going to be
Man caught in
amazing.
act with stuffed animal. Do, do I should read this story?
Actually, wasn't you talking about Steve Shives
Oct-
earlier? Interesting. Just saying.
October 16th. If a car is rocking, don't bother knocking. Because the guy inside may be trysting with a stuffed animal. An Arkansas cop last Sunday spotted a suspicious parked car outside a commercial storage facility that had been broken into 16 times this year. All right. The sheriff's deputy noted that the vehicle in question was seen rocking at 12:45 a.m. When cops looked inside the auto, he spotted Theodore Morvagan, all right, 55. It wasn't Steve, all right, having sex with a stuffed animal. Morgan, a divorced father of three, lives about a mile away from the storage facility in Midway. Since Morgan is on probation, cops were able to search him and his auto without the need for a warrant. They can search it. They can search it for probable cause. According to the probable cause affidavit, that search turned up methamphetamine, a syringe, and 2 marijuana pipes.
Oh, I'm so sure. By the way, Matt actually has it perfectly understandable here. I'm just shocked it wasn't Florida. He's so right, especially with smoking gun.
At his
They
arraignment
blame
today,
Florida for everything.
Morgan is free on $5,000 bond, entered a not guilty plea, all right, and is due in court in October 30th. He was charged with public sexual indecency and possession of drug paraphernalia. It doesn't say that the animal was seized as evidence. The sport was.
LGBTQ and Teddy? Is that your new thing?
You know this guy probably donated to this this bear to one of these Care Bear Foundation kind of things.
Ew.
Might want to watch this one first.
Yeah. Daddy, why is this bear so crusty? Put it back. Just put it back. It smells funny, Daddy. It smells like your sock. Shut up, move. I should stop playing.
Now you know what Xi Jinping's real fear is.
Porno teddies, yes.
Oh, what's that horror flick with the Pooh Bear? Now you know why.
Yep.
Oh my god.
I think Sean's got it right. Oh my god, he fucked Teddy. Next line. You bastards.
Have you seen the women down in Arkansas?
Uh, wow. I don't actually know what to say. I'm just going to step aside and let you deal with this one. This is your country problem. At least we don't shag teddy bears. Sheep, yes. Teddy bears, no.
all I can say is that Magog, you're not doing your job, man. You need to be taking care of these kind of people. You really do. Poe needs to
Now,
sit up there and step up.
I'm wondering if this guy's got a tickle me Elmo and all it ever says is not there, not there, not there. What do you think?
Oh my god. I wonder
Or
if I should
possibly
send
that, and
this.
that's the
I wonder
disturbing
if I
part.
should send this to Magog for a post story.
Oh, you should. Oh, you most definitely should. Just for sheer humor factor.
Okay, final story of the day, folks. Final story before I gotta get back to work. Bear Cub browses produce at an Alaska grocery store. And we can see Mr. This is Pooh Bear.
He obviously
Notice.
doesn't know about the last story. You may have found those in the wrong order, by the way. Putting those two together. See where this could go bad.
Oh my god, this poor. That is a cub, though. I mean, that is very young.
Yeah.
What gets me is where's the mother? I
Yeah.
would be concerned about doing this did you see how he checked left and right? He's looking for the mother too,
Oh, yeah.
because he knows if the mother's there, he's dropping that bowl and running.
Do you blame him?
No, I don't.
Mummy hears that kid yelping. Those guys with their lovely little pop guns are going to do precisely what?
He's. I gotta get this guy some
piss her off.
Did you see that? That's some strength.
Yeah.
That's no. Watch this.
Oh, yeah.
This is some strength. Watch this guy.
Mm-hmm.
This is like get in there.
Yep. Yeah, it's because he's terrified in case Mummy does turn up.
Well, it would give you a little bit of.
Yeah.
All right, it's pissed off and it's in there now. Now you hold this.
Yeah. Oh dear.
What gets me is they just put it in the back of the police cruiser. What do you think is going to happen to that police cruiser?
What police cruiser? That big empty space, you mean?
I don't think I'd be getting into that damn thing. You want to put it in there's
Well,
things like a cages. That's what they make for these things.
I don't know how it is with the law over there, but over here you're not actually allowed to ride in the back of a pickup truck. In this situation, I'd ride in the goddamn back. Okay, it's going to be safer.
I drive from the back.
Fair point.
British cat. We got to do this next story. I'm going to have one more story.
Oh dear. I heard the word British, so I'm...
British cats.
Go on.
54.59 decibel purr breaks world record.
Yeah.
That isn't a purr. That's a growl.
Oh, Kitty. A
British family's 14-year-old cat earned the Guinness Book of World Records for an ear-splitting purr that measured 54.59 on decibels. Bella, a cat owned by a Huntington, Cambridgeshire resident, Nicole Spink, was awarded the record for the loudest purr by a domestic cat. All right, after her sounds were measured. We're going to play this. We're going to play
Bella's house rather than our house.
I'm Dave Wilson, and I'm an official Guinness World Records adjudicator. I'm here in Cambridgeshire
I don't care.
Nicole, and this is Bella.
I want to hear the cat purr.
Bella, she is such a loud girl.
That is a freaking loud purr.
You have to turn the TV up so you can actually hear. She loves a cuddle, and she also loves food.
A Jensen story. That's a pretty long purr, though. That is pretty doggone long.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a motorboat.
Savage little kitty. That's what it is. Savage.
Savage? Did this thing attack anything? No. You might have
No,
been
it purred
wishing.
it and Sonic. Boom!
Okay. Well, that's all I got. All the stories that I got for the day. Hope that everybody knows this. I'll be out for most of this week. All right. So don't expect too much from me in the next coming day or so. Um, hope that everybody has a good day, and I'll talk at you all later. Bye bye, everybody. And we're done.